What's up, folks at home? Welcome back to the channel. I just got the mail, and what did we get? We got hooked up from the boys at Rattle Worm, and we got some new colors. We got new packaging. Ooh, these things look good, right? We got a whole bunch of worms. We got a whole bunch of new colors. Ooh, black and blue. Ooh, man, those look good. So, we're gonna dive in, we're gonna hit the pond. I'm gonna show you how I rig these bad boys. We're gonna catch some fish, we're gonna get some underwater. It's gonna be a thing. We'll see you there. That's a giant. Nice. Oh yeah, that's a big boy. Nice. Rattle worm, half-ounce buzzbait. Nice fish. Let's go.
Alright guys, straight out of the package, the Rattle Worm at 4.5 inches, there are two things that I really like about them. One is their consistency. All of their worms are the same, they're very consistent, the material is quality. Two, it's their versatility. At this size, this bait can do a lot of different things, so let's check out how I rig them up. The first way I'm rigging this bait up out of the package is the Weightless Texas rig here. I've got a number 2 owner extra wide gap hook. It's a very thin wire hook, but it's not heavy. I want this nice subtle fall on it, and I'm gonna twitch it just like a fluke. It's got a very erratic darting back and forth action. You can walk the dog with this bait underwater. Think of it as a fluke style bait in that sense. It's going to get you bit. It's got a lot of good action, and it's got the added benefit of the rattle in the tail. Plus, you notice the almost perfect horizontal fall. That is really key, especially when fish are following it. If you kill it in front of its face, it's going to fall and have that subtle rock back and forth there that you can see underwater. It's got that nice subtle rock and forth that comes from having that keeled hole on it. I really enjoy the white ice and the pearl color rigged this way. Green pumpkin also is going to look really, really good rigged like this.
Quick. That's a giant. Nice. Throwing it, running it like a fluke. On that white ice color, looks good.
The next way I'm going to rig this bait is a weighted version. I'm going to rig it on a Texas rig. Now I'm going to throw an 1/8 ounce blue tungsten weight on there and a bead. I always run a bead on all of my stuff. I feel like that clacking brings in extra fish. And I'm going to simply Texas rig this on the same number 2 owner hook. And I really like the way this bait falls. It really resembles that tube type fall, and it's got a really subtle action. Now you can hop this bait up and down. You have that reactive tail. I'm a big believer in secondary action. You can see here this bait flexes on the pop, and what's that doing? It's creating that tail kick and whip. It's also making that rattle and the tail knock really nicely, and this just is a great subtle package to flip in lily pads, to flip around docks. This is going to be a great bait to fish on sand spots and around weed edges, and that 4.5 size is really, really versatile. You can do a lot of different things. Looking at this bait underwater, it's got a nice subtle gliding action. It's going to be really good on a Carolina rig. A lot of different ways you can fish this bait. Third way I'm going to fish it is literally weightless even more, but it's that VMC number 1 wacky hook, or that Ike approved VMC Nico hook, and this bait falls perfectly horizontal, and that's key because on a drop shot this bait is going to be killer, and it looks very, very, very good. You can also get a lot of action out of this bait on a nose hook rig, and fish are going to inhale it. You can see there it's almost got that nice skittering action of top water, and it's very buoyant. Now, the fourth way I'm going to rig this bait is the jig trailer. Now, a lot of people don't throw a classic jig trailer with a straight tail on it, and I want to tell you that those people are missing out. I used to take finesse jigs and run a Ned rig on the back of them to get them to stand up, and let me tell you, this is going to absolutely take over my finesse jig game here. Here you have a 3/8 ounce mini flip jig with that black and blue trailer on it. Look how good this jig looks on the bottom. It's a compact profile, and then it's got that nice whip. It's got that extra tail kicking action in there. It comes through cover nicely. Here you can see it around wood cover and stumps. It looks really good on the fall. It's got that nice subtle kick on it on the end, and it literally is going to get hammered by fish. Jigs are different ways to fish straight tail baits, and you can do it. I really like this deep stroking a jig. Pulling that bait really high off the bottom and letting it fall is going to be really key this summer for me. It's one thing that I am going to focus on doing this year. I know I'm going to throw the Rattle Worm as a trailer in there. It just looks so good. Now notice when this bait hits the bottom, you've got that secondary action of the tail, you've got that secondary rattle, and that's a really important key feature. A lot of guys throw jig trailers that don't stand up on the bottom. When you inch this bait along, see how much that tail is reacting, see how much subtle action, and see how much that lift that tail has there. That's important. That's going to help a fish pick it up off the bottom and help you connect with more bass. It's just a way to differentiate your lures from a lot of things that fish see. That black and blue matches perfectly. It's a great bait. It's very, very durable. You're going to be able to throw it through a lot of different scenarios. Another way that people overlook action, I'm going to use the Rattle Worm as a trailer a lot on a chatterbait. I made a video about that already. On a spinnerbait. Here it is on an underspin, and I wanted to throw it on an underspin because you can see, even with a very tiny amount of thump, you can see the tail kick in that bait. And you can pop it up and down and get that rattle working too. If you're going to tickle wind something, tickle wind a Rattle Worm. It's got that nice subtle tail kick on it right there that you can see going back and forth. And it's got that extra rattle and vibration in it that it doesn't normally have. I really like this bait here around schooling fish. You can throw it, it's going to fall in a circle. And those smallmouth, those spotted bass, when they're schooled up, are really going to chew on that bait. Plus 4.5, it's a perfect profile to throw on an underspin. It looks really good. The largemouth will eat this too. This is a great way to ledge fish. If you haven't, chuck it out there, let it hit the bottom, wind it back in, jingle it as you're going, kind of tickle winding technique right there. It's going to look good and work really well on suspended fish. Here it is as the trailer on a buzz bait, and this bite is impressive here that we're going to get on this Rattle Worm buzz bait combination.
Oh yeah, that's a big boy. Nice. Rattle Worm, 1/2 ounce buzz bait, nice fish. Let's go.
So one of the best ways that I'm going to rig this bait, and the 7th way to do it, is on a Dropshot rig. The key features on a Dropshot rig that you want to pay attention to is neutral buoyancy. See how this worm perfectly suspends sideways and allows you to shake it in place in basically the strike zone of a fish. That is key. This white ice bait here looks amazing. It almost reminds me of a half shell, or that KVD half shell that people used to really rave about back in the day on the drop shot. This bait is going to be key on a drop shot for me all summer in any color. The white and the pearl look really good. They are really true minnow profile baits, and they perfectly have that horizontal suspension. Plus, you get the added benefit of the rattle in the tail. I don't know if this bait is literally going to have an equal on the drop shot. It is very active. It has the rattle on the tail. It is for sure going to play in smallmouth and spotted bass lakes. Largemouth are going to eat this. You have those nice green pumpkin, those candy watermelon flavor colors. They're literally going to get bit on a drop shot. I'm really excited about this video. I'm going to have a video dedicated only to drop shotting this bait this summer. It's going to be a constant producer. I just know it. Look at that action.
Well, there you have it, folks at home. I am a big believer in the Rattle Worm. If you guys follow our channel, you know that we're not sponsored by anybody. We don't just push things out that we don't believe in. We really believe in this bait. I fished it a lot. I can rig it in a lot of ways. I'm a big believer in saving money where you can save money. This bait is going to do 7 or 8 things that are really good and hard to do, right? it's hard to come up with new things in the lure game. This is really exciting. It fishes like a fluke or a sluggo on that weightless worm. It's got a really defined action. The colors are great. The consistency is great in the baits. I've got like 20 packages of baits. I haven't found one bad one yet. The consistency is amazing on this lure. And when you're really thinking about it, when you are fishing, you want things that you can depend upon and that you can use in a lot of ways. I'm a big believer in saving money, like I said. So head over to the rattleworm.com, check it out, use code bassinsights for free shipping. Grab some of these lures, you won't be disappointed. There's a lot of ways that you can fish them. But hey, if you like the way the channel's going right now, give us a like, subscribe, and let us do more for you. Tell us what lures that you want to see us do. Tell us what baits you want to see underwater. Tell us what videos like breakdowns, stuff like that. It's turning into spring and summer out here in northern Indiana. Let us know how we can help you. Give us a like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.